Hi, I'm Eric from Simply Elegant Home Cooking. Today I'm going to show you a recipe for one of my favorite Italian dishes. We're going to be doing penne alla vodka, also known as pasta with vodka sauce. This is a really rich, decadent dish, restaurant quality dish, but you'll be surprised to see how quick and easy this is to put together in your own home kitchen. I'm going to show you the exact method and the exact ingredients to buy to ensure that this turns out perfectly every time. Stick around, you don't want to miss it. Okay, so this dish comes together really quickly. You want to put your water on, get that coming up to temperature, and that'll give you plenty of time to prep the ingredients. You want to take some red onion and dice it up, and with your garlic cloves, you want to take the skins off and slice these as thin as you can get them with a knife. Okay, and just to show you that method with the garlic, that's what you want to do. You want to go as slow as you need to go, but just cut it really thin. Okay, and this next ingredient is optional, but I really like it. This is prosciutto. This is a really salty, cured Italian meat. Really helps to add, a nice salty, savory flavor, but you can feel free to skip it if you can't find it or if you just don't have it. And what we're going to do, we're going to just kind of dice this up with the knife. Okay, so we have all the prep out of the way, if you can believe that. So now let's talk about several of the star ingredients of the dish. First, let's talk about our tomato product. I like to make this dish using tomato paste. I feel that it has a much smoother and silkier, luxurious quality than using canned or crushed tomatoes. When you buy your tomato paste, make sure to get one that's made in Italy and get one that comes in a tube. Much higher concentration and higher quality than what you get in the cans. Okay, and the next star ingredient is, of course, the vodka. You want to be sure to use a high quality vodka, one that you would enjoy drinking. If you wouldn't enjoy drinking it, don't cook with it. What this is going to do, it's going to add a little bit of sharpness and extra acidity. It's going to draw flavors from those tomatoes that you otherwise wouldn't taste, really make a more intense flavor in the finished result of the dish. And I know there's going to be some people in the comments, I can see it already, wanting to know if they can make penne alla vodka and leave out the vodka. And the answer to that is no, of course not. Leaving this ingredient out, it would be like making chicken noodle soup and omitting the chicken and the noodle. So just don't do it. If you don't want to cook with vodka, probably try a different dish. Oh, and while we're talking about the ingredients, this is the pasta that I like to use. This is the Cecco brand, really the best brand that's readily available in most grocery stores. I'm using penne, which is really the traditional with pasta and vodka sauce, but other shortcut pastas work just as well. Fusilli is another good option. All right, so now let's get cooking. I have a large pot that I've preheated on about medium heat. I'm going to add just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. You don't need too much if you're using the prosciutto. A lot of fat there. So I'm going to go in with the prosciutto and we're going to let this cook down. We want it to get a little bit brown. We don't want to cook it till it's crispy, but you want to get some, some nice color on it. This is really going to help flavor the sauce. And before your prosciutto is fully cooked, but when it looks about like this, you want to add in the onions. We don't want to cook the prosciutto all the way before adding these other ingredients. We don't want to overcook it. We're going to get that in the pan, give it a big stir. And I'm also going to add a little bit of salt. There's a lot in the prosciutto, so if you're using prosciutto, add less salt, and if you're not using it, add a little bit more. But that'll help us cook those onions down and get them to release their moisture. So we're going to let that go maybe about 5 minutes. Okay, and when things look just about like this, we want to add in our garlic. We're adding this after the onions, because it's easy to burn. So we're going to get that in there and give it a big stir, just combine all that. And you want to be sure not to overcook your garlic. We only need to let this go maybe about a minute or so, stirring continuously to prevent it from burning. And in just a moment, we're going to add the tomato paste. So we'll check back in just a moment. Okay, and I'm making half a box of pasta today. You want to use a full 4.5 ounce tube of the tomato paste for each pound of pasta. But because I'm using half, I'm going to use half of a tube. I have exactly half a tube left over because I made this dish yesterday. That's one of the benefits of having a YouTube cooking channel. It gives you a good excuse to test a lot of decadent dishes and then make them again the next day. So you want to get your tomato paste in there and then just move it around. We want to let that sear, get a little bit of extra color. It should turn a little darker during this process. And once you add that tomato paste, that's a perfect time to add your pasta. So I have some water that I've brought up to a boil, salted it generously. I'm going to go in with half a pound of pasta. Okay, and now just a minute or two later, you can see we've got some great color and pan drippings. We're going to go in and deglaze with the vodka. So you want to get that in there and just use your spatula to scrape at it. All of those little dark colored bits are going to come right up and add amazing flavor to our pasta and vodka sauce. And you can see that's another benefit of using the vodka. That just lifted all of that flavor right up off the bottom of the pan. So we're going to let this cook for just about a minute until it reduces in volume. Okay, and after about a minute or so, that's how you're looking. At this point, we're going to add the cream. So you want to use about 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream for each pound of pasta. I'm using half of that, so just a little bit less than half a cup of the heavy cream. A little bit more than a third, less than half of a cup. We're going to get that in there and then give it another big stir just to evenly incorporate it all. We're still on about medium-low heat, which is plenty. And in my haste, I almost forgot a really, really important ingredient. This is Calabrian chili paste. This we're going to add for the heat. Now, if you don't have Calabrian chili paste or Calabrian chili peppers that you can cut up into a paste, red hot chili flakes, the dried version works really well too. You can just throw in, between a 1/4 teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon. Really going to give it some amazing heat. So I would have added that in with the tomato paste, but it slipped my mind, but no worries. So we'll put it in here and give it a big stir. It even helps with the color, giving it a little bit more of that dark color to the sauce. And this is what we're going to use for the cheese. 24-month aged Parmigiano Reggiano. You want to get the highest quality you can find. This is really going to add a nice depth, like a savory, nutty flavor to the dish. So in the last couple minutes, I'm going to grate some of this up. And if your sauce gets a little thick, that looks a little thick for my liking, I'm going to go in with a little bit of that starchy water from the pasta. You can just add a little bit of that in there at a time, just to kind of loosen that up. So that's what you do, just kind of gauge how thin or how thick you want your sauce. And when it's time, drain, but be sure not to rinse your pasta. When that comes off, you want to cook it till it's al dente, and you want to pour that right in. Don't worry if a little bit more of that starchy water goes with it. Okay, and once you get those pasta noodles in there, you just want to stir everything to incorporate this. And I reserved a little bit of the pasta water. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. It was on medium-low. I'm going to turn it up between medium-low and medium, just to help marry that sauce with the pasta. Okay, and after just about a minute or so of marrying that pasta and the sauce, I'm going to turn the heat all the way off. And now off the heat, what we're going to do, we're going to add in that grated Parmigiano Reggiano, as well as a little cold knob of butter. And what we're going to do, we're going to just stir this into the pasta off the heat. Let that butter and cheese just kind of emulsify in. And as soon as this butter is melted up, we'll be ready to put the final garnishes on and serve this up. Penne Alla Vodka. This is going to be good. And if you like fresh herbs, I really recommend using some torn fresh basil. We're just going to go in there at the very end, get that in too. And garnish this dish how you would any other pasta. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of black pepper. Just a little drizzle of olive oil. More of that fresh basil on the top. And I'm going to grate in just a little bit more of that Parmigiano. Penne Alla Vodka, served up, ready to go. Okay, I cannot wait to dig in and try this pasta and vodka sauce. Let me get a little bit of that fresh herb. If you've never had this dish, You've got to try this. It just has such an amazing savory quality. The way we cook that with that vodka just really brought out the intensity of those tomatoes. There's some heat from the Calabrian chili peppers, or the crushed red peppers if that's what you're using. The Parmigiano Reggiano, the fresh herbs. This is just an amazing dish. Even that prosciutto really just took this over the top. I hope you enjoyed this dish. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this video, we're going to be doing a lot more. So I hope you stick around and see what we have in store. I'm Eric from Simply Elegant Home Cooking, and I'll see you again soon.